Without a doubt, the Patriots have been the most dominant franchise in the NFL for the last decade or so. Behind a quarterback that apparently does not regress, and the man himself, Bill Belichick, it almost doesn't matter who they put on the field, they're probably going to dominate, and they'll be one of the top teams in the standings. But what if we changed that though? What if we gave the Madden 20 AI the hands of the Patriots? No Bill Belichick, we have Griffin Murphy, he's filling in. Do you think the computer would be good enough to build the Patriots into a top team from the absolute bottom? Let's see what happens, fellas. Crow Stupid Experiments. G'day and welcome back to the channel. As you can see, the Patriots team is 0 overall. No offense or defense or nothing. This took me hours upon hours to set up. I went through the entire roster and made every single person 12 overall, the lowest you can get in Madden. There is not one player on this team that has a 2 rating in anything. Now, of course, you know my friends Bengal and C4, they do a lot of Madden rebuilds, realistic rebuilds. Since I couldn't be bothered rebuilding these guys myself, I want to see if the computer could do it. So as you can see, injuries are going to be off for this, and I've put everything on simple. I'm actually really excited to see how this goes. We might do like 5 or 10 years. We'll see how the progress is. We'll be checking in halfway through the season, see how the stats are, things of that nature. So enough talking, let's see what happens. Okay, we're not off to a good start. You see up there, we lost 144-0 to the Browns. What's even weirder is I thought the first thing the computer would have done would have been signing some free agents. I mean, they're not Tom Brady's replacement, but there's a couple of 70 overalls in here. Instead, the computer's first course of action was to just leave everybody as is. I'm also not going to be upgrading anybody. That's not my job. Oh crap, we made the playoffs? Yeah, right. So we finish off as a 9 overall. We lost 98-0 to the Dolphins. So things are looking up for us. They picked up a free agent right end and DT as well as a linebacker. They're not good, but it was enough to boost us up to that 9. There was only 4 games the whole season where we didn't lose by 100. The worst one was this loss to the Bills, 161-0. Josh Allen threw 11 touchdowns. Like what? What about rushing? Oh, Frank Gore went off. So did Yeldon. It took the AI 1 off season to go from 0 overall to like 75. Straight away, you see we have Drew Brees, we have Tyreek Hill. Brady is now the 3rd man on the depth chart behind this scrub. Hudson Marks, the rookie out of Texas. He is just god-awful. Defensively, we drafted a middle linebacker. I mean, the team still has so many holes. This Javonte Lawson guy, though, might be a beast. 75 overall. I assume he was taken with the first pick in the draft. No way we got a dub. Who let us beat them, honestly? The bloody Dolphins. Of course it would be the Dolphins. 28-21. The team is a lot better than what it was. Drew Brees, 4 touchdowns, man. Tyreek got 1 touchdown, 84 yards. So we're on the up and up, mate. I assume that we signed Tyreek to a long-term deal. So if he manages to stick around in New England and we add a really good quarterback behind that, man, this team is going to be overpowered though. The offense has been slowly improving. They're up to a 76. And we end up winning 3 games this season. So if history repeats itself, next year we should be 6-10, granted that Drew Brees sticks around. He had 3,700 yards, 29 touchdowns, 13 picks. CJ Anderson contributed pretty nicely. Tyreek Hill nearly 1,000. The blocking would have been the downfall though, for sure. It surprisingly wasn't that bad. 10 sacks allowed between the 2 tackles. I mean, even the Dreadnoughts let in more sacks than that. We have one of the best O-lines in the NFL. We're officially in green territory. Wow, what an improvement over 2 seasons. We signed Brandon Brooks on the O-line. I mean, he's getting old now. 95 strength, the 3rd best right guard in the league. There's still a lot of holes on the squad. I thought it was Nick Mullins. He's a 69 overall. So now we have a superstar on the O-line. I can see why they think the offense is going to be better. We must have only signed CJ Anderson to a 1-year deal. Surely you guys made it splash in free agency though. Where's the big dogs at? Bud Dupree is now an outside linebacker. We have Mays. Lawson turns out to be a star development. He's 80 overall. There's also Greenwood, a backup middle linebacker. If I were running this team, I'd give this guy the start, as I'm sure a lot of you would. But this is the computer's rebuild. We're going to let them do that. As you can see, at strong safety, Von Bell has joined the squad. We also have Eli Apple, Rodney McLeod Jr. Not gonna lie, I did not think it would take this little of time for the computer to actually put in some work. My point is, even though a lot of the guys were 12 overall, like Brady and such, their contracts remain the same. So to fork out enough money to pick up Brandon Brooks and Tyreek Hill amongst everybody else is kind of crazy. At the halfway point, we're already on 2 wins. We're well on our way to 6, fellas. The team is improving again, up to an 80 overall on the offense, 76 on the defense. But hey, as I said, 6 wins, and that's drastic improvements. Damn you Dolphins, beating us by 2. 3 years in and the Dolphins are still really, really bad. The weird thing is, we didn't get an offensive rookie of the year. We haven't had one yet. Calvin Walton, Akil Mays on the defensive rookie of the year. Last year we had the bloody linebacker. He's up to an 80 overall. Just like that, we've accomplished the dream, boys. Only in season 4, the team is already better than the Dolphins in real life. We still don't have a quarterback though. We're still relying on Nick Mullins. Tyreek's probably on the last leg of his contract, so let's see if he gets re-signed. Looks like we picked up one hell of an amazing tight end though, in Keon Redmond. 77 overall. Could he be the next Gronk? Who knows? Rookie out of Boston College. Now that the defense is better though, what's going on over here? We pick up Sheldon Richardson, Emmanuel Ogba. Lawson goes up to an 82. Why aren't we drafting any rookies, bud? I thought with our first pick, we'd definitely look to address like cornerback or, you know, maybe even safety since Rodney's been up there for a few years. We're letting Greenwood go to waste. He's a 79 overall. I so desperately want to put him at middle linebacker number 2, but I'm not allowed to interfere. That's the rules. This team is definitely good enough to make the playoffs. I mean, I've seen some crazy stuff in Madden, and somehow we're not last in the division. If anything, we're pretty much tied for second since the Jets are only 3-4. We finished the season pretty crappy, unfortunately. We're still last in the division. We haven't cracked 6 wins yet, but we're definitely on the up and up. All we realistically got to do is sign a quarterback, and all of our problems are going to go away. Not that Nick Mullen isn't as good as Tom Brady. I mean, to be fair, did throw just under 4,000 yards, 20 touchdowns, 11 picks. We need to get a new running back, but Gus Edwards, oh, I mean, he's all right. He's putting in a work out there. He only got 3 touchdowns on the whole season, but how did that tight end do, though? Tyreek Hill goes for 1,000 yards. Keon Redmond was the second biggest target on the team. Well, he actually got the most receptions, but second on yardage. He turned out to be a superstar X factor. So already the offense is on the up and up. Curl specialist, max security. This backs up my claim. All we need is a quarterback, and we're going to be unstoppable, I promise. Maybe O-line as well. You know, wouldn't be a stretch to say that O-line would not help us. Let's hope our prayers have been answered. The offense goes down overall. Wow, I did not expect that. Does that mean that Tyreek moved on, or what's going on? So we see that the tight end is still there. That's great. Sheldon Richardson is apparently now our fullback. So we went down 3 overall pretty much because Brandon Brooks retired. Tyreek Hill is even starting to regress, down to a 93 overall now. Yeah, the offense is really in a bad spot, despite the clear highlight of Keon Redmond. The defense takes a massive jump up though. We finally get Rodney McLeod's replacement in Redwine. Levi Wallace out of Bama joins the squad. He's a superstar development. We also draft a rookie who's 80 overall, Kyrie Peck. Rookie out of Missouri. I imagine all of our picks would have been right at the top. 93 speed, really good man, really good acceleration. The rookies have already taken over linebacker. We've also got another one at outside linebacker. The next step would be to get a safety. Maybe some D-line as well. I'm sure Sheldon's not getting any younger. Yeah, definitely not the star we're looking for. 1-6. The Chargers aren't much better, but 2-5. Week 17 looks pretty good. 28-10 dub. We finished 4-12, mate. They're right, the pressure's on. We started off really positive, but now we're starting to slowly decline into mediocrity. Nick Mullins continuing to improve. Is he the quarterback of the future? Definitely not. 3,900 yards, 29 touchdowns. Jamal Williams putting up 914. How's Tyreek doing? How's Keon doing? Keon did well. 75 receptions, 758 yards. Really upped his touchdown game though. 11 to be exact. Tyreek Hill, 1,200 yards this time. We need Drew Brees to come out of retirement, otherwise we're going to suffer. The defense seems to be improving as well. Lawson and Greenwood leading the tackle count. Von Bell, nice. Levi Wallace, nice. Seems to be a few sacks up there from the linebackers. The pick game needs to improve a little bit. The more turnovers we can force, the more chances Nick Mullen has to dominate. Oh my goodness, who was that? We must have picked up somebody else's running back in the free agency. We have 3 X factors on the offense, but for some reason, they allow unstoppable force on offense. I don't know what's going on there. But we have 2 people with max security. Donovan Whitlock out of Mississippi State. He's an 88 overall. Looks to be a very solid running back. The 11th best in the country. Got post-flag elite. Who is this? Isn't this meant to be a running back? Why does he have receiving attributes? I mean, he's got some really good catching. Oh my goodness. Might be the running back that New England desperately needs. It's also apparent that Tyreek Hill is regressing quite heavily. Maybe the defense will be a little bit better though, and it is not. Peck goes up to an 83. He's only a star development. Sheldon Richardson, this will probably be his last year. People in their 30s is not going to win us a championship, boys. I at least want to see us make the playoffs before we leave this franchise forever. Again, no playoffs. I think it might be season 6 we might have just wrapped up. We're up to an 81 all around. Hopefully we can have a big offseason as we go 3-13 again. The worst part is our division is starting to become quite dominant. The Bills are 11-5 and the Dolphins are just dolphining it up. Bro, when are we going to get rid of Nick Mullins? He dropped down to 3,500 yards, 22 touchdowns, 11 picks. He's not the quarterback of the future, boys. On the Russian end, Donovan Whitlock, 859. Only had 3 touchdowns on the season. Receiving wise though, Redmond fell off. 503 yards, 2 touchdowns. Starting to get real tired of this. I might go 10 or so seasons. We're in season 7. I thought we might have at least scraped into the playoffs by now, honestly. Turns out that's not the case. We get maybe a 36-year-old Derek Carr. I don't know why we just don't draft a quarterback in the first round. He's 34 years old. He's not what he used to be. Whitlock and Redmond are the only highlights on what is a very mediocre offense now. Tyreek Hill's dropped down to an 88. D-line also retired. Lawson has turned into a superstar though. That's a nice increase, up to an 87 overall. Progress is progress. I'm really liking the way this defense is looking. Von Bell goes up to a superstar as well. Not that that really matters. I see him leaving very soon. Who is this guy though? Probably the coolest last name. Thurman Blizzard. I didn't even know that was a real last name. Last but not least on the D-line, Derek Kaiser. Okay, maybe he can turn out to be a superstar or another X factor. With the way this is going, give it until season 10. Defense might turn some heads. Again, it looks like no playoffs for the bloody Patriots. We're still 4-12, the worst in the division again. I don't think we've come 3rd place yet. At least Derek Carr played a lot better than Nick Mullins though. 4,000 yards, 24 touchdowns, 7 picks. Donovan Whitlock has not cracked 1,000 yards yet, but he is having a pretty good season time and time again. Can't just keep relying on the 2 players to get it done. Javonte Lawson, I hope this guy turns into an X factor. Derek Kaiser, in his rookie season, goes for 8 sacks. He turns out to be a superstar development, already up to an 81 overall. Computer is doing exactly how I projected. Mediocre at best. Even though we're at 79 overall, I have a good feeling about this season. I think this might be it. We've got the talent. Like, when you look at the team, you already know we have the talent. Can we put it together though, you know? Oh, never mind. I just checked the team and we have a crappy quarterback. So obviously Derek Carr decided to move on. I just don't know why the computer doesn't go get a quarterback from free agency. Why is Brian Leach, the rookie out of Missouri, the quarterback? He is a Leach, taking paychecks from New England to basically throw the season. Would you look at that, 11-5. I told you, I had a good feeling about this team. I don't know how we managed to pull that off with a 69 overall quarterback, We beat the Packers, Dolphins, Lions, Jets. But yeah, a lot of close games, but a lot of, pretty good victories as well. Like this 31-17 victory against the Vikings. It is time for the Patriots to reclaim their dominance. Javonte Lawson has unlocked an ability. Let me get a look at this team real quick. I don't think we're going to make it far in the playoffs. Oh, Leach is up to a 76. Maybe we will make it far. Kaiser has gone up to an X Factor. My guy. 85. He's got Fearmonger, which is pretty good. We also have Strip Specialist. Wow, you pair him up with Greenwood and Lawson. This is a pretty deadly duo. We now have an all-drafted linebacking core, and Peck himself is up to an 86. What does Lawson unlock though? Obviously got a brand new ability. Secure Tackler and Run Stopper. Okay. If we go to the playoffs with this team, bro, something is... I doubt it, but I hope. There's always hope. We lost. Brian Leach goes for 4,600 yards, 35 touchdowns and 8 picks. I doubted him, but you know what? We might have found our new Tom Brady. Donovan Whitlock puts it all together and goes off for 1,100 yards. Tyreek Hill. This is probably his last game in his prime. He's going to be getting replaced by a whole bunch of drafted talent. Keon Redmond does his thing again. Nearly picks up 1,000 yards. Javonte Lawson doing his thing. 101 tackles, 6 sacks for the linebacker. Derek Kaiser with 9.5. The only thing I worry about is if we re-sign Javonte Lawson or not, I don't really know how the computer works with re-signing. I imagine you would want to re-sign all these players, but what real people would do and the computer would do, two different stories, mate. So it looks like Brian has turned into a star development quarterback. That's crazy, bro. 95 throw power, decent accuracy as well. I mean, he's a pocket quarterback, obviously. Went from a 69 to a 78 in one season. That's not bad. Tyreek Hill is now up to a superstar development. He's also dropped down to a 79, but looks like Keon Redmond is going to be relied upon to pretty much carry the team receiving-wise. Oh my goodness, we drafted another X-Factor defensive end. Antonio Nichols. This bloke comes in with some pretty decent acceleration. He's got Fearmonger. This defense looks like it would be a lot of fun to play with. Never heard of this guy, Cedric Connor. 7 years of experience. We obviously signed this guy in free agency. He's an 85 overall. So finally it's coming together. All we need is a strong safety and some cornerbacks and the defense might be done. A team that was once the leader in the division has fallen to us. 30-5 victory against the Bills. Looks like we made the divisional round. We go 11-5 again. The Patriots are officially back on top in season 9, I believe now. Brian Leach is putting it together. 4,200 yards, 33 touchdowns, and 12 picks. On the rushing end, Donovan Whitlock, again, over 1,000 yards. You love to see it. On the receiving end, Tyreek Hill surprises everybody with another 1,200 yard receiving season. Cortland Sutton goes for 1,000 as well. Keon Redmond helping out a lot. That's what you need on a team, a tight end that helps. And on the defensive end, this is what I'm most excited for. Javonte Lawson stays with the squad, picks up 9 TFLs and 3 sacks, even got an interception this year. Cedric Blizzard, the cornerback, with 5 interceptions. Just so you guys know, I've been checking the annual awards every year, but I'm not gonna lie, there has not been a lot to be proud of. Not really any Patriots make, as you can see. Brian Leach finishes 9th. We have the 9-6-1 Ravens in the divisional. We lost 19-13. You gotta be kidding me, mate. I don't know how long I can keep going, fellas. We do pick up an 84 overall superstar left tackle in Barbieri. The 4th-year man out of Michigan. Hopefully he can get some blocks. Tyreek Hill is finally going to retire. Our wide receiving core is by far the worst in the NFL. We have 2 60s and a 75 starting. Nichols and Kaiser pair well together. The defense is pretty much the same, just with small improvements. Again, we do not make the playoffs. We go 8-8, so we're starting to fall off. I mean, this team is good. They're just not as dominant as I would have hoped for. Brian Leach has an amazing season though. Leads the NFL in passing yards with 4,600. 34 touchdowns, 13 picks. It's just a fact that New England quarterbacks turn out to be bloody goons all the time. 2 receivers over 1,000 yards in Deshaun Kemp and Keon Redmond. Defensively, Greenwood over 110 yards. He's going to be an NFL Hall of Famer for sure. MVP is going to go to Kyler Murray, of all people. Baker is there as well. No love for our quarterback. If we led the NFL in passing yards and had a fantastic ratio, how are we not even considered for the MVP? All right, we're in season, I think, 11. If we don't make the playoffs by season 12, hey, I'm going to have to call it quits, man. Even though the team is looking considerably better, who knows if we can put it together. Our quarterback is now an X Factor. Brian Leach, the man we drafted out of Missouri 3 years ago, went from a 69 overall normal development to an 85 X Factor. This man is actually a freak of nature. Or is it all because of New England, mate? We got Bazooka, Lofting Deadeye, Long Range Deadeye, and Clutch. So the offense looks to be in good hands. The only problem is our receivers are still garbage. The defense is a lot better though. We picked up a star development on the D line. The strong safety is garbage since, you know, what's his name left? Von Bell. Connor is already starting to regress. So we only have a year or 2 left to really get any results made. Again, no playoffs. We end up going 7-9 with an 84 overall team. I'll give it one more year, boys. We'll see how the team looks going into next season. And for the last year of the rebuild, we dropped down again. 82, 83 offense. Quarterback is progressing nicely. We have Whitlock. Looks like we finally drafted a receiver in Verdon. A little bit too late in the rebuild, I feel. 67 overall center's not going to help. The D-line, though, is amazing. Kaiser is up to a 90. Nichols up to an 85. The defense is definitely the strong point, though it is very sad to say that Lawson has finally started to regress. Was a 90 last year. This year he's an 86. 31 years old. I don't know how long he's got left on his contract, but if we want to win him a Super Bowl, we better do it this year, mate. Otherwise, it's probably not going to happen. Yes! We're in the wild card, boys. 10-6 record. We do not lead the division. If we don't win this, bro, I don't know what to say. Man, you know, we just can't get anywhere in the playoffs, man. The team looks good. They're an 83 overall. You know, okay, you know what? We're doing one more year, all right? I was going to end it. That was going to be it. I like the way Leach is developing. If that receiver turns into anything special, that's great. We're in 2030. This team has one more year to put it together. If they don't, we're going to crumble beneath our own feet. Leach is up to an 88, so he's not really progressing. We replaced a 67 overall center with a 56. Redmond is stuck at a 90. Our running back went down to an 85. The only bright spot, the only positive, is that Clayton Verdon out of Clemson went up to a 79 overall. This offense is definitely good enough to make a deep run in the playoffs. As for the defense, Lawson is now an 83 overall. The D-line is definitely the bright spot. The cornerback is now trash. We have a 61 overall of free safety. Come on, boys, see if you can make the playoffs. Survey says we didn't make the playoffs. We go 8-8 and continue to be mediocre. Though we definitely did have a team good enough to make the Super Bowl, I feel like we had enough chances, you know? Still, I think that was an extremely fun experiment. I did really enjoy that. Brian Leach puts up a pretty good season. Nothing special though. Rushing end, Whitlock is falling off big time. He's getting old, mate. Receiving end, the same thing. Keon has a pretty average season. Clayton Verdon, 918. I don't know, man. It's sad because Lawson, like, we saw this guy get drafted and we also saw him regress. But with that being said, fellas, that is going to wrap up this stupid experiment. Can the computer rebuild the Patriots? Sure they can. Is RNG still a huge problem in this game? Yes, it is. With that being said, fellas, if you made it this far into the video, you are the real MVP. Hope the rest of your day is awesome. And from me personally, I'm out. Peace.